Hello, I'm Kimberlie Acosta. Welcome to the Native News Update. It's Friday, July 22nd. Many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The Native American Fair Commerce Coalition has added its voice to the growing opposition to the proposed amendment of the Tobacco Master Settlement Agreement. The coalition has begun a campaign to encourage its 10,000 members to contact their state attorney generals or governor's office and stop the proposed amendments, citing the original MSA and the big tobacco companies' proposed adjustments to be the worst kind of trade protection and discrimination, in a statement by Executive Director Dorald Stagner. Said that NAFCC's Stagner, the attorneys generals were no doubt doing what they thought was best in 1998, but in hindsight they were clearly swindled. As it worked out over the years, less than 25% of the settlement funds have been used for smoking cessations or health care costs. The state legislatures have been using that money in their general funds. Many states have even pledged future settlement funds against bond issues and other loans. This has created a perverse relationship where the states now need to even more to protect the tobacco companies' revenue sources. In the midst of this economic turndown, the tobacco companies are again preying on the states' weaknesses. They know the states are desperate for money, so the tobacco companies have proposed a revised deal. They want the states to put Indian tobacco shops out of business, but Big Tobacco is now seeking to force the states to collect cigarette tax and settlement funds from Indian smoke shops as well as Native-owned manufacturers. The Native American Fair Commerce Coalition urges all Americans to protect their freedoms. When well-financed special interests like the tobacco companies can purchase a state-sponsored monopoly, it's time for everyone to speak up, said Stagner. Cal fire crews on the scene of a 400-acre brush fire near Warner Springs in the far northeastern reaches of San Diego County in California. The fire was reported at 10:40 p.m. July 21st and was 10% contained by the morning of July 22nd. The so-called Eagle Fire off Highway 79 in Camino San Ignacio is threatening 2 cabins and numerous agricultural sites on the Coyote Reservation. The reservation covers nearly 25,000 acres of remote mountain terrain about 15 miles northwest of Anza Borrego Desert State Park. It is the largest Native American reservation in San Diego County, according to the Kauai Information Village website. U.S. Energy Secretary Stephen Chu has announced 31 Native American tribal projects are to receive $6.3 million over 2 years as part of the Department of Energy's efforts to support tribal energy development. The projects will allow North American tribal communities to advance clean energy by developing strategic energy plans, expanding skills and knowledge, and improving building energy efficiency. From the funding pool, $2.17 million will go towards feasibility studies for 9 projects to help Native tribes improve the energy efficiency of their buildings. Energy assessments will be carried out to identify cost-effective upgrades that will reduce energy bills. The improvements are projected to reduce energy consumption by at least 30%. 17 projects will receive $2.14 million for strategic planning, energy option analysis, energy organization development, and workforce development as the first steps towards a clean energy future. Some of the projects will also support the development of tribal energy organizations such as utilities and energy offices to implement the selected tribes' long-term energy plans and create opportunities for the deployment of clean energy ventures. There will also be $2 million available for 5 projects on tribal land that will help reduce heating and electricity costs by around 1/3. The United States Department of Justice has proposed legislation to deal with jurisdictional problems of Native American reservations that hinder law enforcement and prosecutors from bringing domestic violence offenders to justice. Lynn Rosenthal, White House advisor on violence against women, said 3 out of 5 Native American women have been assaulted and 1 out of 3 will be raped in her lifetime. Native American women in some parts of the country also are 10 times more likely to be victims of homicide. Kimberlie Teehee, White House Senior Policy Advisor for Native American Affairs, said since more than 50% of Native American women have husbands or boyfriends of other races living with them on the reservations, tribal prosecutors often are unable to act in cases of domestic violence. To address those issues, the Department of Justice has suggested legislation that would give tribes that offer sufficient civil rights safeguards to defendants to have concurrent criminal jurisdiction in domestic violence cases where the victim is a Native American regardless of an offender's race. Another proposal would give tribes full civil jurisdiction to issue and enforce protection orders regardless of race. The legislation also would allow the Attorney General to award grants to tribes to enhance their criminal justice systems, protect victims, and provide indigent defense to accused offenders. The Native Land and Resources Department of the Central Council of Tlingit and Haida Tribes of Alaska announced it has secured a 2011 Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act consultation documentation grant in the amount of $90,000 from the U.S. Department of the Interior National Park Service. The grant will be used to conduct research and documentation and to prepare claims to repatriate and/or work on outstanding claims at the Oakland Art Museum and the Southwest Museum Autry Center. In addition, it will allow Central Council's program to monitor the completion of pending claims on more than 200 objects in 9 museums. Gil Birmingham, known for his role as Billy Black in the Twilight saga films, will join Superman Returns' Brandon Roth in the film Crooked Arrows, a story about a Native American high school lacrosse team forced to compete against a better equipped and trained local prep school team. Birmingham will play the tribal chairman and father of the entrepreneurial son, played by Roth. The intense relationship between the father and son and the conflict between modern ways and traditional is what appealed to me most in Crooked Arrows, said Birmingham. Producers on Crooked Arrows are J. Todd Harris and Mitchell Peck. And Steve Rash, known for the Buddy Holly story and Can't Buy Me Love, will direct. Reebok is the film's athletic corporate sponsor, and Crooked Arrows is scheduled to start filming in Boston, Massachusetts in August. Birmingham recently wrapped up filming of Breaking Dawn, the 4th movie in the blockbuster hit Twilight saga, and Shouting Secrets, a film with Twilight co-star Chester Spencer. In theaters, Birmingham starred in the animated film Wrangle with Johnny Depp and The Love Ranch with Helen Mirren and Joe Pesci that opened in theaters earlier this year. Angelique Bates, a California native from Haitian and Native American descent, shot to fame in Nickelodeon's #1 hit television show, All That, and has since appeared in numerous U.S. TV shows and Hollywood films. Now focusing on her music career, Angelique has recently partnered with X-Pac Records to release her debut single, Can't Fade Me Now, officially released on July 18th. Commenting on the release, Jeff Libby, CEO of X-Pac Records, said, "We are thrilled to be working on this release and have been overwhelmed with the reaction it has been getting from so many of Angelique's fans and radio stations alike. This track is all about putting some fun back into hip-hop." Can't Fade Me Now by Angelique Bates is available now from various online stores, including iTunes. A full album by Angelique, yet to be named, will be available early in 2012. Kauai's rainbow star Zephyr, a Native American who is 9 years old, saw the Gain Smells Like $1,000,000 contest on Facebook and asked her single mom, Erica Schneider, if the family could enter a video with her singing and playing ukulele. Rainbow Star has already written song lyrics for a contest entry, thinking if the family wins, the money could go to fix the clan's car. The family, which includes Rainbow Star's brothers, Journey, who is 11, and Taka, who is 8, have been homeless and may soon be living in a tent or car again if things don't get better. The family's video entry was selected as one of 25 finalists for the $1 million prize. Contestants created a 60-second video that uses the phrase, "I use gang and I smell like $1,000,000. The $1 million goes to the sender of the video with the most votes. To vote, you can go to votesinglemom.com. Voting ends August 1st at 6 a.m. Hawaii time. You can vote for Rainbow Star and her family once a day during the voting period. And that's the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me and have a grand day.